The John Corporation office carried its usual air of tension and efficiency. Phones rang, heels clicked, and papers shuffled, yet inside Jungkook's office, silence reigned. Mr. Han, his new secretary, stood by the edge of the desk with his arms full of files. He was eager to impress, though his voice trembled slightly. Sir, the contract with Lim Industries has been finalized. I have also scheduled the client meeting for Friday at 10 a.m. Should I confirm your lunch with Mr. Park for next week as well? Jungkook barely looked up from his laptop. His tone remained clipped. Yes, keep everything as it is and make sure the new proposal is printed by tonight. He scribbled notes quickly. Of course, sir. And would you like me to prepare the gift basket for Chairman Lim's wife? I heard she's unwell. For a second, Jungkook stilled, his fingers pausing over the keyboard. For a second, he wasn't in his office anymore. A memory rose, vivid and unwelcome. It was a year ago, the night of a charity gala. Jungkook stood in front of the mirror, tugging at the stiff collar of his tuxedo with visible irritation. This is pointless. I don't see why I need to waste an evening pretending to enjoy small talk. You were fixing your earrings, already dressed in an elegant gown. You glanced at him through the mirror, rolling your eyes in that familiar way. Because, Mr. John, you are the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. Connections matter, handshakes matter, smiling at people you secretly hate matters. He grumbled, I'm not good at this. You know that. I would rather stay here and finish the quarterly report. You turned fully then, stepping closer to adjust his bow tie. Your hands brushed against his chest lightly as you fixed it. You would rather hide behind numbers than people, but that's not how the world works. He met your eyes in the mirror, scowling. You are enjoying this, aren't you? Of course I am, because one day you'll thank me when those pointless conversations turn into million-dollar deals. Another flash, another time. You were standing in his office holding a bouquet of white lilies. These are for Mrs. Kang. She's in the hospital and you were sending them. He frowned. Why? She's not a shareholder, just the chairman's wife. I don't see how it benefits us. You sighed, pinching the bridge of your nose. Because kindness isn't always about benefits, and because she adores flowers and she adores you as well. Do you want the chairman in a sour mood at the next board meeting? A small gesture goes a long way, Jungkook. You always make me do things I don't want to, he muttered. You smile softly. No, I make you do the things you need to. The memory faded, pulling Jungkook back to the present. Mr. Han was still waiting, pan poised, eyes nervous. For a moment, Jungkook almost said no, his usual answer, but the echo of your voice lingered. Connections matter. Gestures matter. His throat tightened. He gave a small nod. Yes, send something thoughtful. Mr. Han's face lit up with relief. Right away, sir. As the secretary left, Jungkook leaned back in his chair, staring at the empty space in front of him. His gaze fell toward the bottom drawer of his desk. For minutes he stared at it, unmoving, then almost as if drawn by something stronger than his will, he pulled it open. Inside lay a single framed photo, your wedding picture. It had been staged, a smiling photograph for the press, for families, but Jungkook's eyes softened as he stared at it now, remembering the way your lashes had fluttered nervously, the way you had clutched the bouquet too tightly. He whispered under his breath, almost bitterly. You always knew how to handle things better than me. I hated it then. Now I would give anything to hear you nag me again. His thumb brushed over the glass, lingering on your face. He clenched his jaw and set the frame down roughly, almost angry at himself for still keeping it. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't throw it away. Meanwhile, across town, you stood in your modest office. The walls were lined with shelves of neatly stacked files. A small plaque on the desk bore your name, Independent Accountant, Consulting Services. You had built this place from scratch in just 4 months, throwing yourself into work to escape the hollowness of everything you had left behind. You tapped at your calculator, the clicking of buttons filling the quiet, yet your concentration faltered when an old memory surfaced. Jungkook's voice in his office late at night. You'll burn out if you keep staring at numbers like that. Eat. Back then, you had laughed softly and told him you could manage. He had scowled, muttering about stubborn secretaries before sliding a sandwich onto your desk. Your heart twisted. You shook your head quickly as if forcing the memory away. But then your hand dropped instinctively to your stomach. The faint swell beneath your blouse was undeniable now. 4 months. You whispered to yourself almost as if to the child inside you. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing by keeping you away from your father, but this wasn't supposed to happen. You paused, swallowing against the lump in your throat, eyes stinging with unshed tears. It was my choice, and I won't drag him into it. He already carried too many burdens. This one is mine to bear. Your palm lingered protectively over the small swell, a bittersweet smile tugging at your lips. For a fleeting moment, joy shimmered in your expression, but it was laced with sorrow. The marriage had been nothing more than a contract, 6 to 9 months, no strings attached. Back then, Jungkook had been under suffocating pressure. His father wanted him to marry the daughter of a business partner. His grandmother's health was failing, and her last wish was to see him settled. He had no desire for marriage, no woman in his life, and yet he couldn't bear to break his grandmother's heart. So he turned to you, his secretary, the one person who knew him inside out, who always stood by him. He hadn't forced you, in fact, he told you to take your time. But when his grandmother's health took a sharp decline and she whispered her wish again, you gave your answer. That night you said yes. The marriage happened quietly, a contract sealed for appearance's sake. Neither of you expected more, but somewhere between shared dinners, his moments of grief after his grandmother's death, and the way you stayed beside him when the world felt cold, something changed. He began to fall, slowly and helplessly, and you, though you didn't admit it, had fallen too. Yet, when the contract reached its end, you signed the divorce papers, choosing freedom before feelings. Jungkook hadn't stopped you, he loved you enough not to trap you, but you had left more than a signature behind. You had resigned from his company, vanishing from his life altogether. And now, 4 months later, you carried a piece of him that he didn't know existed. Back at John Corporation, Jungkook sat in a boardroom with his executives. His tone was cold, businesslike. Sir, for the upcoming audit, we'll need external support. Our team is short staffed. Mr. Han leaned forward, eager to contribute. Sir, I have a recommendation. She's highly sought after, works with several companies already. Clients say she's professional, precise, and impossible to replace. Jungkook didn't look up from the papers in his hand. Fine, contact her. I want someone efficient. He didn't ask for her name, he didn't care, or at least that's what he told himself. 2 days later, your heels clicked nervously against the polished marble floor of John Corporation. Every step felt heavier than the last. You hadn't set foot in this building since you signed those divorce papers, the scent of column, the pristine decor, the faint hum of busy employees. It was all the same, too familiar, too dangerous. When the employees saw you, they greeted you with excitement. Some had tears in their eyes. You greeted them with the same polite smile. Mr. Han came to you, oblivious to anything. Miss Ryan, it's an honor to have you here. I've heard nothing but praise about your work. Chairman John values results, and I believe you'll deliver them. You managed a polite nod. I'll do my best, as always. But when you stepped into the boardroom, your breath caught. Jungkook stood at the head of the table, flipping through a file. His hair was styled neatly, his suit sharp as ever. But when his eyes lifted and met yours, the world seemed to stop. Shock flickered across his usually stoic face. His breath hitched for the first time in months. Raw emotions cracked through his cold mask. He forced a professional smile, though your heart thundered painfully in your chest. Sir, this is Miss Wyan, the accountant I mentioned. She'll be handling the audit for us. Jungkook didn't move, didn't blink. His eyes burned into yours, filled with a thousand unspoken words. The meeting began. People spoke, documents shuffled, slides changed, but Jungkook wasn't listening. His gaze kept straying back to you. Every time your fingers moved to jot notes, every time your lips pressed together in concentration, he felt that pull again. You were feeling those emotions as well, but you knew how to hide them well behind the professional mask. Your pen dropped, and when you bent to pick it up, he noticed it. You wore an oversized jacket, but Jungkook's eyes were too sharp. He saw the faint curve, the protective way your hand brushed against your stomach as you sat back in your chair. His chest tightened painfully. When the meeting ended, Jungkook's voice cut through the chatter. Leave the documents here. Everyone else, you may go. There was hesitation, but no one dared disobey. One by one, the room emptied until it was just you and him. The silence was suffocating. You busied yourself gathering your papers, but your hands trembled. He finally spoke, his voice low, rough, almost trembling. You are pregnant. You froze, your knuckles whitened as you gripped the file tighter. That's not your concern anymore. Jungkook stepped closer, the distance shrinking. His eyes searched your face, desperate and pained. Don't lie to me. I can see it. Tell me, is it mine? Your lips parted, but no words came out. You looked away, clutching your jacket tighter around you. I told you it's not your concern. His jaw clenched, his voice rising slightly. Not my concern? You were my wife, even if it was a contract. You think I can look at you now and not ask? You think I'll just let this go? Why didn't you tell me about this? Your eyes burned, but you held your ground. It was a contract that ended, Jungkook. Don't make this harder than it already is. For a moment, he just stared at you, his hands curling into fists at his sides, his chest rising and falling sharply. So it is mine, he said softly, almost breaking. Silence fell again, heavy with everything you hadn't said. You think this was just your choice? You are wrong. Now I'm making mine. I'm choosing to be a part of this, of the baby's life, of your life. Your eyes snapped to his, shock, anger, fear, all tangled in your chest. No, this was my choice. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to drag you into something you never asked for. You already gave me so much, too much. I couldn't take more. His eyes darkened, his voice shaking with emotion. Too much? You call asking you to marry me for a few months too much? That was nothing compared to what you gave me. You froze, your lips parting. When you left, you took everything with you. Whatever brightness, happiness, joy, you carried it away. You sucked the life out of me without even knowing it. You think I wanted to go home to an empty house? You think I enjoyed opening my office drawer just to stare at a damn picture of a wedding that wasn't even real? Your throat tightened painfully. You wanted to say something, but words failed. Then why didn't you stop me? Why did you sign those papers if you felt this way? He let out a bitter laugh, though his eyes glistened, because I didn't want to trap you. I had already asked for too big a favor to be my wife, even if it was only pretend. I had no right to ask for more, but then his voice broke. I couldn't help it. I fell for you, against every rule we set, against my own better judgment. Tears welled in your eyes. You pressed a hand against your mouth, shaking your head. Jungkook. He stepped closer. His voice was raw. I know I can't demand anything from you, but I'll ask anyway, because I too have a right on our child. He swallowed hard, his voice trembling. Will you give me another chance? Not as your boss, not as a man desperate for his grandmother's wish, but as a man who loves you, who wants you to be his wife for real this time. Your breath hitched. And if I say no? His eyes softened, though pain lingered there. Then I'll accept it. I'll step back if that's what you want, but even if you deny me, I will never deny this child. I'll be there in the shadows if I have to, at every doctor's appointment, outside every room you walk into, even if you never look at me again, because this baby is mine too, and I won't let either of you go through this alone. Your lips trembled. His words were a knife and a balm at once, slicing through the fear you had clung to for months. You had expected anger, accusations, maybe even cold indifference, but not this. Never this. Your chest ached. A tear slipped free, betraying you. You clenched your hands together as if holding yourself together. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought letting you go would hurt less than holding on. But Jungkook, your voice broke. I have missed you every single day. He froze, your confession cutting through the air like a fragile spark. Slowly, as though afraid you would vanish, he reached for your hand. His palm was warm, trembling against your cold fingers. Then don't run from me again. Don't run from us. I don't care if we start broken. I'll spend every day putting the pieces together. Just let me try. Let me love you properly this time. Your throat tightened, the weight of months of loneliness and fear pressing down on you. You looked at him, really looked, and saw not the cold CEO, not the man who hid behind contracts and duties, but the man whose entire soul was reaching for you. And if I say yes, if I give you this chance, don't you dare let me recreate it, Jungkook. His breath hitched, his grip on your hand tightened as if anchoring himself to you. I swear on my life, on our child's life, I'll never let you regret it. I'll never let you feel alone again. You broke then, your walls crashing down. A sob slipped out as he pulled you into his arms, holding you so tight it was as though he feared you would disappear again. His lips pressed against your hair, his voice a hoarse whisper against your ear. I love you, Ryan. I've always loved you. This time I won't hide it. This time I'll say it every day if that's what it takes. Your hands clutched his shirt, burning your face into his chest as your tears dampened the fabric. His heartbeat thundered against your cheek, fast, frantic, alive. When you finally pulled back, his hand instinctively dropped to your bump, resting there with reverence. He bent his head, pressing the gentlest kiss over it, his voice breaking as he whispered, Hi, baby, it's your dad. I promise I'll be better for you, for your mom. I'll never let either of you go. Your tears turned into a smile then, faint but real. For the first time in months, the weight lifted from your chest. You cupped his face in your hands, meeting his gaze through your tears. Then let's do this together. No contracts, no running, just us. And when his lips finally found yours, it wasn't desperate or rushed. It was tender, filled with every word neither of you had said, every promise yet to come. A kiss not of ending but of beginnings.